So, in my research, so I'll give you a little bit of a backstory. So, I'm preparing for a presentation, and I'm speaking to Christians as I do on most of my weekends, speaking at churches and speaking at conferences, trying to inspire people to change their lives essentially. And I came across this scripture, which I've known for some time, but it really struck me, and that's why I decided to do a video about it. So, Proverbs 10:4. And what really struck me is just two words right here. Those. Create. Create. You see, a lot of us desire, and the reason I use that image in the background, some of you don't care about Lamborghinis, some of you don't care about fast cars, but I guarantee every single person that listens to this cares about improving their lives. Whether it's by making an extra £500 a month, whether it's by making an extra £10,000 a month, nobody is it is special. So it means any person can achieve it. But what I found amazing about this, it said, lazy hands create poverty, but diligent hands create wealth. What struck me, and it might not be such a big deal to you as you're listening to this, but to me, what struck me was whether you're lazy and you're not taking action and you're not doing anything about it, you create that poverty. So if we were to break down the term create, it means you're actually the orchestrator. You're actually the person who's putting yourself in that situation by being lazy. So it's not that, I hope you understand, it's not a matter of laziness comes upon you and poverty comes upon you because you're lazy. What this is saying is, because you are lazy, you are creating that poverty for yourself. Most people would understand that I'm lazy, therefore I didn't do anything, I didn't create the wealth, I didn't put myself in a situation. But this really struck a chord with me. By being lazy, which means by not taking action, by not doing what you're supposed to do, by not following your passion or your desire, you're actually creating poverty for yourself. It sounds so, let's say, counterintuitive, because this essentially talks about creating, talks about taking action. So you are taking action and creating poverty for yourself by not taking action, which sounds so crazy. So, in essence, you are actually taking action, but you're not taking the right action, so therefore, you're putting yourself in a position of poverty. But what I found more amazing is it says here, but diligent creates wealth. So, I want to break down the word diligent because diligent means the consistency. So no person becomes wealthy or rich because they did one thing and they took action. It's the diligence that creates wealth. It could have said lazy hands create poverty, but it should say diligence, but it could have said lazy hands create poverty, but starting a business creates wealth. That's not true. It's the diligence, which means going through. Well, diligence starts from taking action, then it starts from developing that action, making mistakes and still being able to carry on. Because so many people start one business or they start an idea and they fail and then they give up. But wealth is on the other side of diligence, which means perseverance, which means going past your current situation. That's how you create wealth. Lazy hands create. What I found amazing about that is by being lazy, you're still creating poverty, which means you're still taking some sort of action, but you're responsible for that poverty because you've done something about it. So you can't say there was no opportunity, which is why you stayed poor or you didn't have the things that you desired or you couldn't help more people because you were poor. No, you've created that life for yourself. But on the other hand, by being diligent, so as I said, diligent talks about hard work and perseverance, which means hard work. Well, it starts from taking the action, which means being a starter, which is where a lot of people fall short because you don't start. But then diligence goes on to talk about you've started and you're maintaining and you're continuing until the desired result becomes manifested. So it says, but diligence creates wealth. So it means the consistent effort creates wealth. It didn't say the starting creates wealth or the doing creates wealth. It used the word diligence. Diligence means continuous. Continuous. So you make a mistake, you get back up. You try something, it doesn't happen, you get back up. You carry on. You learn from this, you learn from that, and you build the perfect model and you continue. But as I said, I just really wanted to do this video. It might not mean anything to you, but to me, it really just woke me up like, wow, by being lazy, you're actually creating poverty for yourself. It could have said being lazy means you will be poor. No, being lazy is you creating and bringing upon yourself poverty. Lazy hands, idle hands. Idle hands was another translation. By not doing what you're supposed to do will create poverty for you. But the second step is by being diligent. So number one is doing. Number two is understanding diligence, which means continuing. Regardless of whatever happens, continuing, trying. But I just find that fascinating and I wanted to do a video about it. So whatever position that you're in, if you need to do something, do it. Because if you stay poor, that's on you. That's on nobody else but yourself. This shows it right there. If you stay poor, if you don't fulfill your goals, if you're not financially secure, if you don't make or create the life that you deserve or that's supposed to be yours, then that's entirely right here. You've created that for yourself. Entirely your fault. So what are you going to do today? What are you going to do with regards to diligence? As I said, that should say diligence, but either way, we all understand it. I wish you a fantastic day. Just my positive / rants. All the best.